Are you scared to get out of bed because you're thinking about apostrophes and how to use them? Relax. Welcome to Avoiding Awkward Apostrophe Appearances Always Part 2, a teacher helper video by Ashley Marshall. In this video, we're going to look at using an apostrophe for possession, singular and plural different usages, and exceptions to the apostrophe rules. There's the apostrophe. Now relax, stay calm. We'll work you through it. Apostrophes are never used for plurals. That's a good rule to keep in mind. For example, if you're talking about your lunch, the plural of lunch is lunches. Not this. This would be talking about the lunch's bag is nearby. That's something different. If you're trying to use an apostrophe for plural, you're doing it wrong. There are two purposes of apostrophes: contraction, which we looked at in part 1 of this series, and possession, which we're going to look at now. When we talk about possession, we're talking about belonging or relationship, that one thing belongs to another. Apostrophes for possession is formal language. Go ahead and use it in your essays and other reports as needed. But what do we mean by belonging or relationship? Well, the hat of Omar is a really awkward way to say Omar's hat. See how the apostrophe tells us that the hat belongs to Omar. Or the leg of the table is also awkward, but the table's leg is much simpler to use. Single possession is what these examples are. It is a noun plus an apostrophe plus an S. Like tables, a noun, an apostrophe, and an S. Clocks, schools, homes, things that belong to the clock, the school, or the home. But what about plural possession, when we have more than one thing? Well, the rule to remember is plural first and then possession. I'll say it again. Plural first, then possession. Keep that in mind. Plural possession works like this. It's a noun made plural, then an apostrophe, and then perhaps an S. Huh? Well, more than one child. What is the plural of child? It's children. And then you add the possession, children's toys are over there. What about more than one man? Well, the plural of man is men. Make it plural first, and then add the possession. This is one that I see wrong all the time. Men's. No, it's not the men's bathroom, it's the men's bathroom. Perhaps you've seen that too. But what if you're talking about more than one woman? Well, the plural of woman is women, and to show possession, it's women's. Although, if you've been in public anywhere, you might have seen this mistake. The women's washroom is not spelled like this, but like this. What about the girlfriend of Carlos? Well, we can't do S apostrophe S, and we certainly can't put the apostrophe after the O, because then it changes it from Carlos to Carlo, and that's a different guy with a different girlfriend, so we go Carlos S apostrophe and leave off the second S. What about other exceptions? Well, remember when I said that apostrophes are never used for plurals? Well, there's an exception to that too. If a letter is isolated in plural, and here's what I mean. You know the expression mind your P's and Q's? Well, here we're using the apostrophe to create a plural, to show that there's more than one P and more than one Q. Here's another example, the A's, I's, and U's. Here you could see why you need it, because if you take out the apostrophes, then it's as, is, and us, and that's not what you're trying to say. How about this example? Imagine at your school there's two teachers that we call Mr. I. We would say that both Mr. I's are in the science department. Again, the apostrophe is creating a plural. What about whose and whose? We know that whose is a contracted form of who is and who has. But whose is used when we make a question, like whose llama is staring at me? Maybe all these exceptions are enough to make you cry. Well, what about numbers? There's exceptions there too. Like if you wanted to talk about the twos, you could say the twos or the twos. Both with and without the apostrophe are fine and acceptable. And the 1990s and the 1990s, with or without an apostrophe, is acceptable here as well. And you can also say the 90s or the 90s, although you can't really say the 90s with two apostrophes. That's a lot of exceptions. And if it's all driving you mad and crazy, maybe we can make it a little simpler by just saying, remember these rules. Plural first and then possession. Avoid S apostrophe S and be very careful when using numbers not to have two apostrophes. In this video, we've looked at apostrophes for possession, singular and plural, and a whole heap of exceptions. If you're interested in knowing about quotation marks, punctuation rules with quotations, and what speech tags are, then you need to check out Dealing with Dialogue, another teacher helper video. Ooh, a subscribe button, a Facebook button. Ooh, go on, click. You know you want to. They're right there. You can do it. I believe in you. Click.